before we start, let's get this out of the way first. Yes, this movie gave us the greatest song known to man. Can't play anymore, that we're gonna get copyrighted. I'm sorry, I had to stop. Not my choice. So, Daredevil, 2003. Okay, so everyone in the year 2023 is a comic book fan, or so they say, when they constantly have a list of every 5 stories that they've never read that they want to see on the big screen. We're all guilty of it, don't lie. It's weird to go back about 20 or so years to see how things were back then. Yeah, Marvel used to care about Fantastic Four, can you believe it? Think about everything we had before about 2004, 2005, 2006, that general 3-year era. We had some kick-ass Blade movies that didn't really stick the landing, but they held them a lot more than I remembered. They had, of course, the X-Men movies with a Wolverine who was, quite frankly, a little tall for the role, but don't lie, we're all excited for Deadpool 3. Quite possibly the best trilogy of superhero movies of all time. Suck it, Christopher Nolan. And a pretty decent track record for the cartoons of this time. But that's not all we had. See, everyone remembers the good old days, but nobody wants to remember
Hulk, 2003, a film categorized by my father as, that's the one where he jumps a lot, right? Yeah, I know this one has been getting some love recently, but I still can't make it past the first 2 minutes, so it's still here. X-Men 3, The Last Stand. A film that shoves these 2 pretty dang good comics into the same 100-minute movie while also trying to be a satisfying conclusion to the previous 2 movies, failing on all 3 counts. And who can forget that one Spider-Man comic where Green Goblin and Gwen Stacy...
See, there's a discussion online about right now where people are talking about whether or not superhero media now is better than it was back then or not. But right now I just really want to talk about a movie that I love. A movie that means a lot to me. A movie that I think about almost every day. A movie starring Ben Affleck as a superhero who mainly operates in the dead of the night. Don't lie, you know who he is.
Yeah. Something is definitely bleeding.
No, not that one. I'm talking about the good one. My name is Richard Scrabble. Daredevil is coming soon to DVD and video, and right now, I need someone to save me from the dark.
Daredevil is a character created by Stan Lee, Bill Everett, and an unspecified amount of input from the coolest dude ever, Jack Kirby. By day, he is Matt Murdock, blind lawyer extraordinaire who can only be described as burning every bridge he still has so that the ones he loves won't become victims to his alter ego, Daredevil's antics. Daredevil fights for justice even when the courts have failed. Whenever one of his enemies finds out his identity, everything gets screwed up. Spider-Man straight up wrote Matt a letter that was like, yo, I know who you are, but you're cool, so I'm gonna stay quiet. And Karen pulls the federal fence and opens the mail, and that's how she finds out. And then Matt faked having a twin brother named Mike, and that's how he got away with it, and... Considering how the Spider-Man film rights are always something that people are talking about, for one reason or another, I won't get too deep about that here. Marvel was financially screwed and started pawning off their film rights so they could stay afloat. They offered a ton of modern A-listers to Sony like the Avengers and Black Panther, Captain America, Iron Man, a whole lot of those guys. Sony said,
Who gives a
and only took Spider-Man. This led Marvel to desperately greenlight projects in an attempt to make money, such as Blade. Eventually, Daredevil had his treatment in the form of a script by Christopher Columbus. No, not that one. The one who did Home Alone. The good ones. And Pure Disappointment. And Turf. And Pixels. He was attached to a script and set to direct at one point. This draft, which I found on Reddit, features such wonderful, memorable moments such as... Here we have a wonderful, truly wonderful scene where Jack Murdock gets bummed out of a wrestling deal, and instead of being a Spider-Man about it, he just straight up punches the dude in the face and says, "Now who's blind?" Here we have the scene where Foggy watches Elektra walk out of Matt's room in the morning implying that they've, I want to focus on the phrase, marveling at her superlative butt. And this one's actually my favorite, because Matt's like, "I never imagined a console could afford such a beautiful place, Mr. Nachios. The former king of Greece is my first cousin, Matt. Let's just say that my family has never lacked any attention to the finer details of life." Nico looks at him more seriously now. "Why do you ask? Are you one of those liberals who thinks rich people are lesser than poor people?" Or how about that scene where Matt meets Elektra while she's tightroping between the World Trade Center towers? Man, what a great idea for a scene. It would be a shame if... Eventually, Kingpin gets mad Elektra won't marry him, so he brainwashes her. He then born-agains Matt, leaving him penniless, disbarred, and assumed dead by the public. This leads to a confrontation with Elektra on a Spider-Man balloon at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, with Matt in a new red, blue, and silver costume. Then Fisk is giving a mayoral campaign speech, only to be interrupted by Matt, and then Elektra shows up. She and Bullseye fight while Matt and Fisk fight. Then Bullseye and Elektra explode or something. Matt fights Fisk, and it's something that reminds me of Hot Fuzz, kinda, in the script. There's like this little model city. Honestly, could have worked. Anyways, then Kingpin pulls a Hans Gruber, Daredevil's mother is a nun, and Elektra is alive and in the Himalayas, and the script ends with Matt, quote-unquote, smelling in the aroma of the night. The script does have some nice bits, such as Matt's father knowing about his powers, although I'm not really fond of how nonchalant he is about losing his sight. At least the final cut of the movie had Matt freak out for a little bit about not being able to see anymore. But what could you expect from the first draft, really? It's fast, kind of cobbled together, but it gets the general plot across. Eventually, Fox got a hold of rights and worked with a new script, this time led by Mark Steven Johnson. This dude was so obsessed with directing that he dropped $7K on having the script storyboarded. Future Marvel president, then producer Kevin Feige, was quoted as saying,
"We have one of the strongest comic scripts we've ever had, and if we can get all the ducks in a row, we're going to start doing it as soon as possible. Obviously, this is not your typical superhero part. If we were just doing a movie about a blind lawyer named Matt Murdock, you need a strong actor, not necessarily a big movie star. But it's Daredevil, and we need as good of an actor as we could find. It's a wide open field right now."
Eventually, Ben Affleck would be blessed with a titular role, with his future ex-wife Jennifer Garner to play his love interest Elektra. Colin Farrell, the dude who I keep mixing up with Colin Firth, was cast as Bullseye, and Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin. Honestly, Kingpin and Bullseye were the best parts of the movie. They're just so removed from the kind of drab love story that they kind of steal the scene whenever they're on screen. Just look at some of these scenes with them.
Of Daredevil.
How did you get past my security?
Oh, you mean that guy?
Was that really necessary?
Necessary? No. It was fun.
You know, you've exceeded all my expectations.
Okay, so like, cheese nips. We all remember those, right? They were like Cheez-Its, but they weren't. Apparently they're not even getting made anymore? That's kind of freaky. Basically, Daredevil had lenticular cards on the packaging of cheese nips. Yeah, wonderful. I know.
Daredevil, the album. 20 brand new songs featuring Evanescence.
The soundtrack is a bunch of early 2000s grungy rock and emo songs. What kind of freak would... Yeah, that's what I thought. It's literally the same price as the GTA game, which was pretty cheap. Do you think I'd leave it behind? No, I wouldn't. This soundtrack is perfect for those who either have a crappy taste in music, nostalgia for the early 2000s, those who are 14 and believe this to be deep, or alternatively, all of the above. Is this the kind of music that will make my mother yell at me for listening to? Yes. And that's all that matters.
So, yeah, I looked everywhere I could. I have the cartridge somewhere. There's pictures of me with the cartridge, me buying the cartridge and stuff, but I can't find it anywhere. Yeah, it's weird, I swear, I was just gonna pull it out for the video and I was gonna play it and I was gonna talk about it, but I don't have it. Yeah, sorry about that. From what I played of it, it's actually kind of fun. The ad is kind of weird because it's like, fight all these different Marvel characters when it's just characters from the movie. To me, that would seem like they would have, like, I don't know, Punisher in the game or something. That would have been a fun boss fight. Anyways, moving on.
Who is this Daredevil guy?
A guardian devil.
I was born to see this movie.
Forever in darkness.
Looks like he's gonna have your lunch and your lunch money. Ninja stars flying, he's dodging everything. How about kung fu action and all the time with the fighting, jumping off the car. There's jumping. There's a lot of jumping. Let's play. Bullseye, he's just evil.
Remember me?
I remember Lecter. The DVD's gonna take it beyond the movie. It's available Tuesday, July 29th on DVD and video at Walmart. We always have low prices.
Dude, Wikipedia doesn't even have the DVD release date for this thing. What the fuck? Daredevil finally came out, good for him, on DVD and VHS, supposedly on July 29th, 2003. That's like 4 months after the movie. That's not the usual way for movies, not even now.
As you can see, this VHS release is just a tape, no inserts, so that's kind of, boring. Here we have the pièce de résistance. Daredevil Disc 1, Disc 2. Wonderful, I know. Get your thrills on video and DVD. Phone booth. Solaris. Naked Killer. City Hunter. Magnificent Brother. Hong Kong 1941. Magnificent Warriors. Oh my god, Buffy. Oh my god, foreshadowing. X-Men 1.5, the making of. Ooh, Transport, I hear those movies are pretty good. Oh, Independence Day, I have that one on VHS, it's got like a particular cover. Fuel. 24/7 Extreme Sports and Lifestyle Network. Somebody call that number. Oh my goodness, Act 2? There it is, there's the classic.
I've got like a bubble girl or something stuck in my throat.
Here we have the DVD map. Tells you exactly what's on each disc. Wonderful, I know. So that was a look back at 2003's Daredevil. Is it as bad as what people say it is? That's not what I'm here to discuss, but I don't think so, no. See, it all depends on how you look at it. This Daredevil movie was not a pretty good adaptation of the comics at the time, but about 10 years later, we got a really great Daredevil show. You know what, I'll go as far as to say this. Daredevil 2003 is the best superhero film starring Ben Affleck. Which reminds me, there's a director's cut of it around here somewhere. You know, if I had a nickel for every time Ben Affleck starred in a superheroes movie that was somehow saved immensely by its director's cut, with all of its problems getting either swept under the rug or just downright fixed entirely, I'd have 1 nickel for Daredevil. I give to you Daredevil the Director's Cut. This is the only way the film was released on Blu-ray. Weird, I know, right? Slipcover is really tight on mine for some reason. Anyways, we open it up. There's a disc. And the scene selections. This picture right here of Daredevil goes hard. Feel free to screenshot. Grab life by the ball and save $10. Wow. Here we have The Girl Next Door, Dodgeball, Jingle All the Way, and Predator. Perfect double feature for families around Christmas time. Independence Day, The Siege, Day After Tomorrow, Man on Fire, 24? Season 3. It does not say how much it is. I, Robot, Alien vs. Predator. I actually have that on VHS around here somewhere. And A New Breed of Superhero, November 2004. Oh, it's all like taglines. Okay, that makes sense now. Seconds from Disaster on National Geographic, I guess Fox owned that before Disney bought it. And Star Wars Trilogy on DVD. Wow. Nobody wants this set, everyone wants the 2006 one, because that actually had the original trilogy in it. Not enough people know that.
There's even a subplot for Nelson and Murdoch, featuring Coolio! Rest in peace, man. He was really cool in the Daredevil movie, and for telling Weird Al that Amish Paradise was eventually cool with him. Guess you could say he was Coolio with it.